Eighth grade school magazine sales. But this year was different. An all expenses paid trip to Europe was up for grabs. I ran in the door, Mama, I'm gonna win a trip to Europe. How are you going to do that, darling? Well, all I have to do is sell a Reader's Digest, and then I get to pick a form, and if I get the right thing, then I get to write a 25-word or less essay about what I can learn from an all-expenses-paid trip to Europe. Sweetheart, don't get your hopes up. Every other kid is gonna want that trip. Mama, I'm gonna win a trip to Europe. Do you wanna buy a Reader's Digest? No, darling. Grandpa gives us one every year. Okay, I went through the neighborhood, trying to win a trip to Europe, want a Reader's Digest? No. Europe, Reader's Digest? No. I could not sell a Reader's Digest to save my life. And I wasn't wise enough to figure out I had an allowance and I could buy my own. I went home and I said, Mama, I can't sell a Reader's Digest. And the woman who never wants her kids hurt, who wants our feet on the ground, said, sweetheart, doctors buy magazines. And she drove me all over town until I sold a Reader's Digest. I went into the principal's office and I picked my little form. I'm like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, because there's this silver dot and you got to have Pegasus under it. Otherwise, you're out of the competition. So I go down and I sit on the stairs and I spit on it. But it's scratch off. So spitting didn't work very well. So now I'm terrified I'm going to ruin my entry form. And there is the wing of Pegasus. I came home, I'm like, I'm winning a trip to Europe. And so we did what my family always did. We bandied about ideas, and I got my essay together, and my mama went over to the typewriter and put it in and typed the 25-word essay. I don't remember exactly what it said, but this was the gist. Winning this trip to Europe will make me a better citizen of my town, my country, the world. And I sent it off and I said, please, 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 God, please let me win this trip to Europe. And months came and months went and I never heard a thing. I got invited to participate in a big competition, but it was during the Reader's Digest trip. I said, oh, I can't do that. I think I'll be in Europe. They're like, okay. That invitation never came back. And then one day I heard, all junior high students, please report to the auditorium. So hundreds of us are coming in the back door. And I look up, and there's the Reader's Digest man. My heart started pounding. Gina. I said to my best friend, somebody from here won that trip. And that was the moment that I knew that I would die if somebody else won my trip. You see, I have a father who's a dreamer. And my whole life, he has said to me, dream big, sweetheart, dream big. Good things happen when you dream big. And I would nod my head. And he always said, but sweetheart, the price of dreaming is pain. And when a dream doesn't come true, it's gonna hurt. Have you ever had a dream you wanted so bad you could it? Yeah, you remember that dream. You may have one right now. Have you ever wanted something so bad that decades later you could cry how badly you wanted it? So he got up on the stage and he said, thank you, thank you, thank you. Best magazine sales ever. I'm like, you bet. You dangle Europe in front of kids. They're motivated. He said, we had 13,500 entries. And we picked 17 winners, one from each region of the United States. And there is a winner at Dover Junior High. And then he paused for dramatic effect. I'm like, get to the point, big guy. I'm sitting there waiting my fate. And he called my name. This is where you all go wild. Yay! The whole crowd goes wild because they all know me. I've gone to school with him since kindergarten. Thank you, wild. Anyway, I run down, y'all. I'm from small town America. There's a picture of me on the front page of the next day's newspaper. And I went to Europe, and I became a better citizen of my town, my country, the world. But even better, I learned that good things happen when you dream. my dad was right. And so I became this big believer in dreaming. And I went on and I was working at a college. It wasn't the right fit, so I decided I'd go get a doctorate because I really wanted to teach. And boy, it didn't look like professors had to work at all. So that looked like a much better job than what I was doing. So I went and got my doctorate and I became a professor. And I am in Michigan where I landed. And I'm sitting on a rock in Lake Michigan reading a book called Wishcraft, W-I-S-H, Craft. And this woman says, Barbara Sher says, if you will write down 100 things that you want to do, have her be, magical things will happen. I guarantee it. Well, by this time, I'd won a trip to Europe, I'd run a cruise to the Bahamas, and a curling iron. The curling iron is, I'm all in. Okay, so I write down, and I start dreaming. I go, what are 100 things that I want to do, have her be? So I get 10, and then I hit the wall. And then I just sat there and just let things bubble up. And some of them were frivolous. Like I wanted gold in Olympic archery. Didn't happen, didn't hurt. I hadn't shot a bow and arrow since I was 7. I wanted $35 million in the bank by the time I was 35. Didn't happen, didn't hurt. I wrote down 100 things about the type of woman I wanted to be, the relationships I wanted to have, the things I wanted to achieve and own and do. Some absolutely frivolous, some the deepest desires of my heart. And I got that journal out 4 years later, and almost 50 of them had come true with little to no work on my part. One of the ones that came true was I said, I want to teach in Hawaii for my university. Do you know how many times my university paid me to go to Hawaii and paid me a stipend for the extra work? I quit counting at 45. I think I've been paid to go to Hawaii over 50 times. I'm like, who gets to live that life? Well, somebody who won a trip to Europe, who believes in dreaming, who wrote it down. So another thing that I don't even remember writing down is I said I want to OD on the theater in London. And my mom and I got round-trip tickets from Canton, Ohio, $286. They upgraded us to first class on the way over. We went to the theater every day. We came home coach, and I said, I need to dream more specifically, because first class is better than coach. So I'm a big believer in dreams, and I have my students, back when I was a professor, they had to write a list of 25 things that they wanted to do, have her be. And I want to encourage you as individuals to compile your 25 list of things that you want to do, have her be. And I had one student, and she says to me, I don't have any dreams. No dreams? No. Are you hoping to pass the class? Yes. You got one. Want to graduate? Yes. You got 2. Suck it up, sailor. Go get 23 more. But here was the difference between her life and mine. When she was a little girl, somebody heard her sing, and they invited her on Lawrence Welk. And her parents said no. When I won that trip to Europe, I was the only junior high student who won. Everybody else was a high school student. They called my parents, and they offered my parents money. And my dad said, well, why can't she go? They said, she's only in junior high. My dad said, she knows how to behave. And I got to go to Europe because my dad advocated for me. Do you have people advocating for you in your life? If so, you probably dream big. If not, I want to be that advocate for you. And here's what the little girl learned, is that it's too painful to hurt, to hope, because it's easier to deaden your heart than to be disappointed. And when I tell you some of the things that came true, you wouldn't believe them that I told you out of my top 100. But there are a few things that didn't come true. And my dad's right. When dreams don't come true, it hurts. One of my dreams was to have my own children. And the years went by and that window closed. I cried for years. And the fascinating thing was when I turned 50, I cried all over again. I had to remourn that. But we're resilient. Every one of you is resilient. Every audience member that you have is resilient that you serve. And here's what resilient people do. We mourn, and then we come up with a new dream. So you want to know what my dream is now? I'm going to marry a man who has kids. They're going to get married, and they will give me grandbabies. And I hear that is so much more fun than being a mom. Sugar them up and send them home. Here's the bottom line. I want to invite you to dare to dream and achieve the audacious. I want to dare you to dare to listen to the whispers of your soul. See, the dreams that came true with little or no work, they're just candy. They're the sprinkles on the cupcake. But the dreams that mattered for me, the dreams that matter for you, never magically happen. You actually have to put feet to the ground. You have to work hard for those to happen. And we earn those. And they become magical, defining moments of our life. I don't know what your dream is, but I do know that time will pass. And if you take no steps toward the whisper of your heart, you'll be in the same space next year. But if you'll tell yourself the truth about what you want, and you take baby steps toward it, not grand, big things. Mark LeBlanc was my business coach, and he taught me 3 baby steps a day. So usually when I mess up, I didn't do 3 today, so now I have to do 6. He's like, nope, 3 a day, you do it, great, you don't do it, okay, 3 a day. Think what would happen. In a month, you would do 900 steps. No, that would be 90. Math is not my strong suit. 90 steps in a month, that's over 1,000 steps in a year towards your dream. What is the whisper of your soul that never goes away? It's the one that needs feet. At the end of the life, at the end of your life, what do you want to say? I wish I would have. Or, oh, I am so very glad I did. The choice is ours. We get one ride on this planet. I want to encourage you as individuals to dream. If you're married, dream as a couple and figure out your top 5. It tells you how to spend your resources. Dream as a family. Dream as a department. Dream as an office. Dream as a company. Dreams propel us forward. It's why they create success in life. They're all about the future. And it's always our choice. My observation is the happiest people on earth, the most productive people, are the people who listen to their heart and follow their dreams. And yeah, they're going to get hurt on occasion, and they pick themselves back up because the whisper of their soul will never go away. What are you going to say? I wish I would have, or I'm so very glad I did. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm very excited to